West Virginia will finish the regular season in college football with a record of 8-4. They have a bowl game on the horizon with a chance to go 9-4. It looks like Neal Brown will definitely be back at the helm in 2024. Many Mountaineer fans disagree with that. I'm going to tell you what I think and give you 5 reasons to support my opinion right after this word from my sponsor. Ladies and gentlemen, this episode is brought to you by Dutch Miller Automotive, where friends and family pricing means you get the best deal right up front on any new or pre-loved vehicle in stock every time. With brands like Chevrolet, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, Kia, Hyundai, Ford, GMC, Buick, and Subaru, the Dutch Miller Automotive family is always growing and ready to put you in the car or truck you've been searching for. Check out our inventory across West Virginia at DutchMillerAuto.com or come in today to the home of friends and family pricing, only at a Dutch Miller Automotive store near you. What is up, college sports fans, Big 12 fans, fellow members of Mountaineer Nation? Welcome into another edition of Couz's Corner. Belly yourself up to the bar and let me pour you out another shot of top-shelf college football content. On tap in today's episode, we are once again focusing on the West Virginia Mountaineers. This time, Neal Brown returning in 2024. Now, there are many fans out there who, despite our record of 8-4, still think Neal Brown should have been fired because he didn't win any games against teams with winning records, and he is yet to be ranked in the top 25 during his time at West Virginia. Now, both of those things are true up to this point. None of the teams West Virginia has beaten in the regular season have winning records, at least none of the Division I teams or FBS teams. And West Virginia still has yet to be ranked in the top 25 since he's been here in 2019. Both of those things are true. But I still think that Neal Brown should return as coach of the Mountaineers in 2024, and I have a list of 5 reasons why. Reason number 5 is progress. When you look at the progress Neal Brown made as a head coach in 2023, I think it's hard to argue that he made progress. Number 1, his record. Okay, he didn't beat any ranked teams. He can't help how the teams he played do. Okay, he has no control over that. But he blew out some teams. West Virginia was not blowing out anybody in previous years. They blew out BYU. They blew out Cincinnati. Yes, they should have blown Baylor out, but they didn't, but they found a way to win. Those are the types of games this team was losing earlier in Neal Brown's tenure. They were not winning close football games. They are now winning a lot of close football games and blowing teams out, which they were not doing before. I thought Neal Brown's play calling as an offensive coordinator improved. We all know he took over play calling duties from Graham Harrell, and I thought he looked much better than not only last year under Graham Harrell, but even Neal's play calling in previous years. He mixed up the run game. He found an identity with the run game, using Garrett Green to run the football, using C.J. Donaldson, using Jaheim White, even at times using Jalen Anderson and Justin Johnson. He established an identity as a running football team, and he mixed up in the ways they did it. Different formations, different motions, different shifts to help fool the defense, to help keep the defense on their toes. I thought he did a good job of that. It was a more disciplined football team. Not as many penalties at bad times. Not as many boneheaded mistakes. Yes, there were. We all know the special teams mistakes in the Baylor game and the Oklahoma State game. We all remember those, but they were not as frequent this year. The penalties were not as frequent this year, not near as many penalties. If I'm not mistaken, West Virginia was one of the least penalized teams in the Big 12 Conference in 2023. That improved. I thought his time management was much better in 2023 than in previous years. He had been criticized for that. He was more aggressive going forward on 4th downs and things like that, something he had been criticized for in the past. He played younger talent this year a lot more than he had in the past. One of the things Neal Brown had been criticized for is even if a veteran player was struggling and there was a talented young player behind him, he would refuse to change because he was worried about playing the young player. Well, as you saw with all the freshmen we had contributing to this team, he didn't do that again in 2023. He brought these young guys in and let them play and let them contribute, let them learn while they were playing. He did that. A lot of the things he was criticized for earlier, he's now doing or not doing in some cases. All right, now let's look at the 4th reason why I think Neal Brown returning in 2024 is the right decision. That's the foundation of this program. He has laid a foundation. When he came in, he had to completely change the culture from where Dana Holgorsen had it. The cupboard was left pretty bare, especially on the offensive line. But he decided to go with young players, lay a foundation. Those young players have now gotten older. They've now gotten more experience. There are now younger players behind them who are more prepared. He's laid a foundation, especially at the offensive and defensive lines. Along with the younger talent I mentioned earlier, He's recruited pretty well the past couple of seasons. And I think we're going to like the class he's bringing in for 2024 as well. He has better NIL support than past years. A lot of that is due to the hiring of Ren Baker as the athletic director. Ren Baker is a fundraising superstar. That's what he's been known for throughout his career at his other stops. He's not only raising money for the MAC, the Mountaineer Athletic Club, he is now embracing the ways that are legal for athletic departments to help with NIL. Within the legal boundaries, he's helping support NIL at WVU, which has thus increased the amount of money available to West Virginia football players through Country Roads Trust, the NIL collective at West Virginia. A lot of that Neal Brown did not have. West Virginia was behind the eight ball in that regard for most of Neal Brown's tenure. I don't feel like we're as behind, if we're behind at all, anymore. So that should help Neal Brown. So not only did he lay a foundation from a program perspective, the administration has helped lay that foundation as well. Now let's look at number 3, risk. I think the risk of firing Neal Brown is just far too great. When you look at what candidates are out there, I mean, we're an 8-4 team. It's not like this team went 2-10 or 3-9 or even 4-8. This is a team with an 8-4 record. What coaches out there are guaranteed to come in and turn this program around and make them even better next year? There's not one. Yes, and you can give me the Jimbo Fisher, you can give me the Rich Rod arguments, and I just don't buy it. Jimbo Fisher, I'm not saying he's a bad football coach. He's a good football coach. Would he be better at West Virginia than Neal Brown? I'm not so sure that's the case. The 2 jobs Jimbo Fisher has had, those 2 schools have far more resources available to them than West Virginia. So what makes you think he would win as much or more at West Virginia? Not sure that he would. Maybe he could. I don't know. But that's the thing. It's a huge unknown, a huge question mark. At least with Neal Brown, you know what you're getting. Okay? And with his staff, you know what you're getting. Rich Rod, same thing. Since he left West Virginia, since the Pat White, Steve Slayton days, he has not had the same level of success again. He didn't have it at Michigan, even though I don't blame him for that necessarily. I think Michigan played a large role in that. But he also didn't equal that success at Arizona. Yes, he had some good years and some decent years, but he was never able to equal the success he had at West Virginia. And he has not coached at the Power 5 level under the new NIL and transfer portal rules. Would he be able to have that same success with the new landscape of college football? We don't know that, folks. So again, it's still a huge question mark. And there's no guarantee that either one of those coaches or any coach out there is going to be any better than Neal Brown. Which leads me to number 2. Do you want to pay him a $13 million buyout to walk away after an 8-4 season when it would be a huge risk to hire a new coach that you know nothing about or know very little about? I just don't think it makes any sense. And yes, I understand the athletic department money is not the exact same pool of money as the school. But we all know West Virginia University is $45 million in the red right now. They've had to make massive cuts to a lot of programs. They've had massive layoffs at the university. And while the athletic fund is not exactly the same, they are connected. The athletic department is partially funded by the university. Most of the money does come from donors. And yes, donors could fund Neal Brown's buyout. But wouldn't you rather those donors put that money in the Country Roads Trust Collective to help retain and bring in better talent for Neal Brown? To me, that makes a lot more sense. Why would you not support Neal Brown, who just come off an 8-4 season, try to help him retain the talent that, oh, by the way, seem to be bought into what he's selling here at West Virginia? There seems to be buy-in from this team based on the way we've seen them play this year. They never quit. They played with a chip on their shoulder. They seem to be buying what he and the staff are selling. So why not support that through NIL and other things if you're a donor versus wanting to buy out Neal Brown's contract? I mean, even donors, their money's not endless either. I'm sure they have budgets. They have a cap on how much money they're willing to pay, in support of West Virginia athletics. So why wouldn't you want that to go towards other things versus having to pay a coach's buyout? And oh, by the way, that doesn't even count the assistant coach buyouts and the salaries for the new coaching staff. All of that has to be taken into account, folks. And there are hidden costs involved in firing coaches, guys. There's more to it than just, hey, bring this guy in, let this guy go, bada bing, bada boom. It's not that simple. There are hidden costs involved. And then finally is quarterback. we have Garrett Green, a DAWG dog at the quarterback position. Since Neal Brown has been here, he's had Austin Kendall, Jarrett Daggy, and JT Daniels as his starting quarterbacks. And yes, I know a lot of you are going to come at me and say, but Couz Garrett Green could have been playing 2 years ago. He wasn't ready. And in my opinion, to think anything else is naive. Garrett Green was not ready to play quarterback at West Virginia until now, or at least second half of last year, I would argue. But he now has a quarterback who's a dual threat quarterback. Some of that is because Neal has decided to change his approach offensively. That's fine. And you could say, well, he should have used that approach before. He didn't, but that's okay. He's learning as he goes, just like we all do in life, at any profession, right? He's been willing to make changes. He's changed the approach on the offensive side of the ball. He's going with a dual threat quarterback. He has one in Garrett Green who's playing really, really well right now, arguably as well as anyone in the Big 12, maybe outside of Dylan Gabriel. Right now, and this, I got to credit Jed Drenning, the signal caller, for this stat, but Garrett Green is first in the Big 12 in big-time throw percentage per Pro Football Focus. What is big throw percentage? Big-time throw percentage? Well, PFF looks at your throws down the field. They look at the accuracy and the timing of those throws. He's top in the Big 12 in that category. He's tied for third in the entire country. Guess who he's tied with? Heisman Trophy candidate Jaden Daniels from LSU. The only two quarterbacks ahead of him, Drake May at North Carolina and Michael Penix at Washington, two guys who will likely be in New York for the Heisman Trophy presentation. So Garrett Green is in elite company in this category. He's also 17th in the country in quarterback QBR, according to ESPN. Guys, Garrett Green is playing quarterback at a very high level. Is his completion percentage where we'd like it to be? Absolutely not, but it's improving. The last 2 games, it's improved greatly. You can watch Garrett Green. We have watched his maturation as a quarterback. You can see it with the naked eye, folks. It's obvious. He has developed into a really good quarterback. There is no coach in America. Well, there might be a couple, but there are very few coaches in America that can win in college football at the Power 5 level without good quarterback play. And until now, Neal Brown has not had that. And that's changing the game in Morgantown. Garrett Green still has a year of eligibility. And even got to give a shout out to Nico Marchiol, who's behind Garrett Green. If he stays with this program, in my opinion, we have 2 solid quarterbacks that can carry the mantle for this program. And then we've got quarterbacks behind them coming in or already on campus who have bright futures too. The quarterback position looks better. He's moved over to getting dual threat guys to keep the running identity for this team. But yet, if he needs to throw the ball, he can flat out do it now. And in the past, he wasn't doing it. He's protecting the football. Only 4 interceptions the entire season, guys. And that goes back to the discipline piece too. West Virginia has not turned the ball over a lot this year. They were not protecting the football very well in previous years under Neal Brown. They're doing that now. Just, to me, it all adds up to better play overall as a team. And Neal Brown deserves credit for that, guys. The buck stops with him, good and bad. And this year, it was mostly good. I don't care who we were playing. It was mostly good, and the eye test told me that. We were 1 Hail Mary away from finishing the regular season with 9 wins, and we were a Hail Mary and 1 quarter of football away from playing in the Big 12 championship game, guys. Keep that in mind. We won 2 games with our backup quarterback who was not ready yet, who had a smaller playbook at his disposal because he had not taken first-team reps, at least when he came in against Pitt. Yet Neal Brown came up with a way to win games. He deserves credit for that, folks. So I'm of the opinion that Neal Brown coming back in 2024 is, in fact, the right decision for West Virginia football, for this West Virginia football program. Guys, I want to hear your thoughts. You may disagree with me, and if you do, that's fine. I may debate you, but I respect your opinion. I want to hear your thoughts in the comments section. Also, guys, don't forget to hit the thumbs up button and like this video if you like my list and if you appreciated the content. Please share it with your family and friends. Please subscribe to Couz's Corner if you haven't yet. If you're a West Virginia Mountaineer fan and you haven't subscribed to me yet, I don't know what you're waiting on, because that's mostly what I do here. I cover West Virginia, the Big 12, and I cover conference realignment. If you want to support my channel financially, guys, and want to help me keep the lights on here, you can do that The number one way you can do it right now, there's a Cyber Monday sale going on over at ONIT Athlete where you can get your NIL trading cards. It's a great way to support the West Virginia Mountaineers football program, or if you're a fan of another team watching this, your team may be available as well. We're getting into the period where the transfer portal is about to open. We as fans can do our part by supporting these athletes through NIL, and ONIT Athlete now offers that through these trading cards. West Virginia is having a Cyber Monday sale today only. Use the link in the description box. You get 5 packs, including 2 guaranteed autographs and 3 guaranteed blackout cards. You get 14 cards per pack, spotlighting all current players. Collect the full set. Rush to uncover special inserts and numbered parallels. 60% of the profit goes straight back to the players via name, image, and likeness payments. Elevate your collection, your trading card collection, with the Mountaineers spirit, and there is limited stock, so do not delay. Take advantage of this sale that's going on as we speak. Again, link is in my description box. There are other ways to support me as well in the description box. You can join the channel, become a VIP member. You can check out the Fanatics link to do your Fanatics shopping. Another way, and by the way, guys, these ONIT trading cards make great stocking stuffers for your family members, or if you want to treat yourself, that's great too. But you go to Fanatics link, buy yourself some apparel or some memorabilia for your favorite team. Use that link. I have a merch store, and there is merch available. There are designs available that are not my channel logo. If you've got someone in your household or in your family that may not be a fan of Couz's Corner, you can still get their merch over at my merch store. It's a way to support me and check a box off your Christmas shopping list. So go check out that today. You can click one of the photos below the description box or the link in it to get into my store. With all that being said, guys, I really appreciate your support. I appreciate you tuning in to this episode of Couz's Corner. I hope you have a top shelf day, and cue Country Roads.